Hi, and welcome to Restorative Realms. My name is Heather Shipley. I'm a physical therapist and orthopedic movement specialist, and I love helping people reconnect with movement and improve their wellness. Today, we're going to focus on our mid-backs, rib cage area, and shoulder blades. If you carry a lot of tension here in your upper traps, if you get tension headaches, if you struggle to be upright, if it's challenging and fatiguing, if you have a shoulder that you keep tweaking, then this is for you. Probably this will be the first in a series because there's so much good stuff we can do for this area of our bodies. I'm going to talk for probably a couple, 3 minutes here. So let's not waste that time. If it's comfortable for you to lie down on the floor, I encourage you to just pick a spot on the carpet and lie down on your back. Let your arms rest out from your sides. Probably keep your knees bent, feet flat, unless it really is comfortable for you to be all the way extended. We are going to use a rolled up blanket, like I've got a Mexican blanket here rolled up. You could go grab that, and you could actually, if it's comfortable for you, lie on that. You just line that up along your spine and relax. Well, I do just a little bit of talking. Try to keep it to a minimum because I want you to experience it, not just hear about it. But yes, we're talking about rib cage, thoracic region, shoulder blade stuff. When we lose mobility in this area, it affects us negatively in a lot of ways, like the tension and pain, more musculoskeletal stuff I was just mentioning, but it also impacts like our heart and our lungs. Pretty important stuff. Like I never understood the word vitality before I became a manual therapist. But when I put my hands on someone, front, back, it can either feel like concrete and nothing's moving, or I can be riding like this wave of movement that's generated from the heart. The lungs respond to it, the fascia, the connective tissue in there. That feels like vitality. There's an ability to breathe and move, and there is an energy and a vitality that comes with that. I don't know any other way to explain it. That sounds good, right? We want this. By breathing and moving in some ways that maybe we've forgotten that we can do, we can deeply impact ourselves for good. You know, people are often aware of their posterior, their back tension. Like when they go for a massage, they like the therapist to focus on their backs. And yes, these posterior tissues are making themselves heard, often because they have been having to work in a lengthened position. But honestly, what often needs to be opened up is the front. There's tight things here that have been pulling us forwards and giving these posterior muscles such a hard time. And then we kind of get locked and lose mobility, lose rigidity. So what we're working towards is a trunk and rib cage that's mobile enough to facilitate vitality and movement from the inside out. We're working towards shoulder blades that can move, can skate around enough to support our arms in all sorts of different positions and tasks. And we are working towards an understanding of how trunk, shoulder blades, and arms need to work together. So, locked into this position, this is my shoulder joints end range and deflection. That's it. I'm at end range. Anymore, it's not gonna be good. Which this position of my spine, you can notice my thoracic is rounded over, my shoulder blade is tilted forwards. That is well and good if I am tying my shoe. But what happens if I want to reach for the top shelf? If I want to change a light bulb? Impingement, rotator cuff tear, that kind of stuff. Not good. The solution, regain thoracic extension, regain shoulder blade posterior tilt. Big difference there where my blade is. And then here I am effortlessly overhead with an arm that's well supported. Guess what? I could go more. I don't even have to push into shoulder joint, glenohumeral joint, end range. My shoulder stays happy, and all the parts of me are working together to support that. Okay, that's enough talking. If you have osteoporosis, please reach out to me and I will help you with some modifications, or I might make another video just for you. But that's the only caution I would have with this. This is a gentle movement that we're headed for, and you never push into pain. I'm going to show you one static stretch, an active stretch, but a stretch before we get into the movement. I don't give a lot of stretches like this, but occasionally there's some that benefit most of us, and they are beneficial, especially paired with movement re-education. So this is a stretch for our pectorals. They're an interesting muscle. They kind of have a twist to them, and this stretch gets to some of those fibers that maybe a more traditional stretch or opening doesn't quite get to. Only do this if you do not currently have a shoulder that's really irritated, and you are very comfortable getting down on your belly and back up without hurting anything. What you're going to do is lie down on your belly. You're going to put your arms overhead, sort of like you're making a diamond shape. You will leave your left hand there, move your right hand below your right shoulder, press gently into the floor through your left hand. So this is an active stretch. You're not just passively going to take it back into end range. You're going to keep engaged, and you're going to be gentle with this, but you're going to start to push with your right hand, reach your right leg back to the point where you feel a stretch through that left arm. Your head's going to stay resting into the floor. You're only going to an intensity of a 3 or 4 out of 10 with this stretch. We're not cranking. We don't want to irritate. We just want to remind the body that it has options with the length of your pec muscle. It doesn't have to stay shortened. And just take a couple deep breaths. And then go ahead, roll back over, bring your right hand up. Repeat on the other side. So take that left hand below your shoulder. Roll your body to the left. Gently press through that right hand and forearm into the floor. Let your head be heavy onto the floor, face muscles relaxed. You can play around with the arm position a little bit. In other words, your diamond could be taller and thinner or shorter and squatter. you just make it work for you. Make it work for you. If that feels like a really good stretch for you, you can pause and do that a couple more times on each side. But we're going to move on. Bring that roll. And it's a pretty firm roll, so I've kind of back rolled it and made it firm. And get lined up. So arms are away from sides a little bit. See if you can let your shoulder blades fall back. So getting out of that anterior tilt, letting the shoulder blade be more upright. See if you can let your palm roll up towards the ceiling. That's that beginning opening up through your chest, through these anterior shoulder girdle muscles, and place your feet far enough apart that you have a tripod going between left foot, right foot, pelvis. So you are secure. You're not wobbly and unstable. Okay. Shoulders falling back. Feet are going to stay flat on the floor. Knees are not going to move. So if your kneecaps were flashlights and they're shining on the ceiling, don't let that ceiling light move around with what we're about to do. You are going to let the left side of your pelvis start to fall towards the floor. So you are tilting your pelvis to the left. You're not going all the way to the floor. This is a small movement. The rest of this stuff that we're doing today is really about letting go. How well can you let go? How well can you reduce needless effort in your body? And you'll be surprised at how you will feel afterwards. It's pretty amazing stuff. So you're falling off to the left. And if you can be relaxed through your torso, that wave of movement can just work its way up. You can allow your head to fall to the right. You can allow a right side bending where your ribs get closer together on the right and they get further apart on the left. If you think of the bottom of your sternum, your breastbone, think about it swinging to the left. That will facilitate that side bend. You can feel that right arm being just very easy for the palm to roll up to the ceiling. In fact, you might even be able to kind of lift your elbow off the floor or lift the pinky side of your hand off the floor, because you are now, and that shoulder blade has gone back into a posterior tilt. It's not forwards, it's back, facilitating upright, forwards and upright arm movement, right? So push yourself back up onto the center of the roll. Try falling off to the other side slowly. This is going to be more challenging for most of you who are right-handed, to allow the right side of that rib cage to open up, left close down, We're engaging, actually lower traps can engage a little bit if you know where those are. Shoulder blade rolling back, even maybe getting that little lift. You don't have to do that, but just I want you to see how the position of your rib cage and your shoulder blade facilitates more external rotation in your shoulder joint, if you want to think about it that way. Push yourself back up onto the blanket roll. Fall off to the left. Bottom of the breastbone swings to the left. Head rolls to the right. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, push back to that left foot. Center yourself on the blanket roll. Inhale, fall off, but not really, to the right. Bottom of the sternum swings to the right. Deep breath in. As you exhale, push through that right foot. Use your right leg muscles to push you back onto the blanket roll. So just begin to pair breath with movement. Inhale, fall off. Exhale, push back up. Inhale, fall off the other way. Exhale, push back up. Check in with your feet and knees. Are they moving around? Or have you maintained good foot stability? If you are someone that struggles with neck instability and you just feel like, my neck is having to tense up because my head's not supported enough, you can put pillows on either side of this blanket roll. Kind of think of it like bumpers on a bowling lane, just kind of gently, if it's going to irritate you, you do not have to let your head fall, your neck go into end range rotation. Just be aware of that. That's totally an option. Because our goal here is that we're in a safe place that we can let things go. It really is. This is about letting go versus efforting. We're going to add a couple arm movements. You're going to bring both your hands up towards the ceiling. You're going to fall off with your pelvis to the left as you bring your right arm overhead and your left arm down by your left hip. I think I said that right. So you're letting your head fall till your chin is kind of approaching your right armpit, right? Exhale, push yourself back up onto the blanket roll. Hands come up, they meet each other in the air. Fall off to the right. Right hip is getting closer to the ground. Right hand is down by your hip. Left hand up in the air. Left chin and left armpit. Bottom of sternum swinging to the right. We still got that left side bend. This is a really good shoulder blade position and a good upright thoracic position for when you want to reach overhead. You're practicing it. These are neuromuscular patterns that you are now practicing. So just do that a few times. Inhale as you straighten yourself back up on the blanket roll and your hands pass each other in the air. Exhale. Get into the side bend and the reach up. Feet flat. Face muscles relaxed. If you want to, you can stay longer in the position of falling off to the side. You could take a couple deep breaths. You could really challenge, like with this, when I'm falling off to the right and I'm trying to open up through my right side of my ribs. As I breathe in, I can think about really filling up that right lung, because I am right-handed and I tend to just be a little bit more compacted through my right ribs. Right-handed people tend to be a little lower in their right shoulder, and that's, we can just even that out. We do things with movement and exercise that balance out the postures that we do during the day, and that keeps us out of pain and injury. So that's probably enough. We'll do one more thing. Let's do little candelabra arms. So bring your arms out like you're making a T, but then bend your elbows, okay? I hope you can see this in the video. If you bring the palms of your hands down towards the floor, feel your shoulders come forward. That's anterior tilt. This is an over dramatization of the posture that sometimes we get into, with a slumped forward tilting shoulder blades, and then we're still looking up, trying to engage with the world. There's a lot more curvature in our neck. There's a lot more tension in our shoulder girdles. Then go the other way. Bring the back of your fingers up to the floor. Feel your shoulder blades tilt back. Feel the fronts of your shoulders, your chest open up. That is a better shoulder blade position for reaching up or reaching and looking out. So it depends what you're trying to do. If you want to tie your shoes, this is great. It's also just really nice, within a healthy range of motion, to just move back and forth a little bit. This actually moving back and forth on either side of neutral, so crossing that neutral posture, anterior tilt, posterior tilt, helps your brain reestablish what is neutral and what are my options here for movement. Okay, that truly is enough for today, I think. So roll off to one side of your blanket roll. Reach back with your hand if you can, and just get the roll out of the way. Oh, wow. And then roll back onto the floor. And just pause there for a moment and appreciate what you've just done. Feels really nice. For me, it feels like someone just dug a trench for my spine. It's just laying there. It's a good sign of healthy joints, healthy tissues, when the natural curvatures of our spine can just kind of relax and sink into the floor, straighten out a little bit, and the soft tissue can allow that. Okay, You can lay here for a while if you want to, or you can roll over, sit up, stand up. Hopefully you will notice, it's a little easier, a little more effortless to stand upright. I have a little more awareness of where my shoulder blades are in space and how they're connected between my back, my shoulder blade, and my arms. And maybe there'll be a little more ability of your body to utilize mid-back muscles instead of upper traps to support your arms as you're doing life, whether that be folding clothes, lifting a child, you name it. We need these things. This is how we interact with the world. So until next time, practice these movements. Gain some mobility, gain some awareness, get out of pain. See you soon.